Welcome back to another episode of My Legacy Garage. Today, we're going to work on the old yellow C10, see if we can make it, run for real and, I don't know, maybe even move. We should probably not put, our eggs before our ducks or our chickens before our hatches. I don't know, whatever that saying is. We shouldn't do that. We should just see if it'll run. So, I guess we need to tackle that starter. I don't want to. Step one in starter fixing. Make it fat guy friendly, because all this don't fit, under there real good when it's on, especially with a flat tire. Like, are you kidding me? All right, I guess I should quit procrastinating and just, I'm going, all right? So the first thing I notice under the truck here is the cab mount. It's not junk. Somebody put some newer, nice cab mounts in it at some point. And it even had a chrome oil pan once upon a time. There's that starter. I looked on the driver's side and I was like, oh, there's the rust. Yeah. That looks more like it. I started looking around and I noticed this, and I was like, well, that looks like it's part of the carrier bearing. And then I took a closer look at the carrier bearing. I discovered it literally is split apart and just kind of hanging in there. Like, it's not good. So we're probably gonna need to do something about that. Somebody also put an inline fuel filter back here. So basically what we learned under the truck is, one, the starter is accessible even though it has the headers on it. I use the term accessible loosely. I think I can get it out of there. Two, there's more than just the starter that needs to be fixed before it can really be driven, just on a visual inspection, and we didn't even look at the brakes yet. And three, you need to really watch what you touch, or you get the old iron oxide eye treatment. It's gritty and makes your eyes look bloodshot. All right, I'm really gonna stop procrastinating now, and I'm gonna go and get the starter out. I'm really not a big fan of changing starters, so I decided that what I'm gonna do is take that starter down out of there and just soak it real good in PB Blaster and move it around a little bit, because it just seems like the Bendix just isn't kicking out. So that's what I did, and we just hooked the battery up. Let's see if I fixed it or if I have to take it out again and it's even worse just because I tried to be lazy. Did you hear that? It works. That's awesome. Plus, I had to spend money and buy a new starter. Double awesome. All right, let's clean some tools up, get her back on the ground, and see what we can do with it. I reckon the next order of business is a fuel system. Lord knows what's in that tank isn't going to do anything. So, let's see what we can do about that. I reckon that a boat tank on the roof with a line run down here to the carburetor, that should do for us, at least for in the shop here. We can see what sort of state this carburetor's in, because I'm betting not great. Everything is petrified. Nothing wants to come apart, so sounds like we just had some ice come off the roof. We just filmed the cold start challenge yesterday, and it's nice and warm in the shop here. I'm working in my short sleeves, and whew! Well, we got her off of there. As you can see, progress has been made. There's a boat tank with about half a gallon of rotten fuel up there. We got a line run down here, plugged straight into this old Holly. So I'm gonna go ahead and prime that up, and then we'll try it and see what happens. And I've got the old fuel line stuck up there just in case it pumps something out of that nasty tank, but it's got that filter back there, which I'm pretty sure is gonna plug up and ain't nothing gonna come out of there. Well, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that that carburetor is in massive need of a rebuild. It's got gas running out of it everywhere. I mean, just everywhere. Out of the overflow, out of gaskets, out of the vacuum ports. Wow. I've taken the fuel tank and put it down here on the floor in an effort to stem the flow. But there is fuel everywhere on this intake. I mean, just puddles, and it's still dripping out. So I think we need to just take that fuel line off there. We're gonna let this dry up a little bit, and then maybe we'll try and fire it and see if it runs on whatever's in the carburetor and see how it sounds. And then I think we're gonna need to go get a carburetor rebuild kit for it. And maybe an actual side post battery so I can quit putting a rock under it to tilt it so that the battery cables will reach. I think it's dried up enough to try it. So let's see what happens. Well, hot dog, that's progress. I like it. So I think I'm gonna see about that carburetor rebuild kit and a battery. And then, well, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do about the fuel tank yet. Maybe I'll take it out of the C20. It's got a nice tank in it. And it's not going anywhere anytime soon. That's a thought. I think we gotta take the seat out to get it out. Well, the C20 seat isn't bolted in. Oh, the C20 has a nice seat too. See where I'm going with this? This one could be driving soon. C20, not so much. We might play mix and match. It did actually pump what probably used to pass for fuel from the tank, which is surprising. But, like, look at that nasty. Whew! It is disgusting. So at any rate, I guess we're gonna have to do something about that. I just couldn't help myself. I wanted to start it one more time. Here's the deal. It's the next day, and it absolutely reeks like rotten fuel out here in the garage. To the point where I can't even stand to work out here. It stinks so bad. So it's time to get this gas tank ripped out of here and try and clean that fuel system out. And either clean this tank up or just ditch it altogether. I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. I want to get it out here and take a look at it. But in the process, you know, I took the seat out because it's all tore up anyway. And the carpet, it's so rotten. I'm going to tear it out too because it's really just holding moisture in here. And that'll let us really look at the floor and see what kind of shape this cab really is in before we decide how far we want to go with this thing. Let's get her done. While it's true digging through a glove box can tell you a lot, looking under the seat can tell you something too. Like, this thing's got some speakers in here. Look at that, huh? And then a hatchet, just in case you need to use a hatchet for stuff. There's a ratchet strap in there. There was a 5/16 wrench, which I'm guessing was for the battery cables. There's a screwdriver. Apparently he was a smoker. And I found an insurance policy that expired in 2005. So there's that. And yeah, this carpet it's a little sun faded up there. I guess it used to be black and now it's puke brown. I'm not sure. We've got a little rust hole through the floor right there, which I did not know about. And it looks like it's got some kind of mesh or screen or something in it. Like somebody was trying to do something down there. I don't know if they were just trying to fill the hole so air didn't come in or what. Looks as though we have some custom sound deadening in here. We have to get that tore out. The floors don't look too bad. There's a little surface rust starting on them, but I don't think it's through. Back here is definitely okay. And even along the edge of the rocker there is fine. So let's see if we can clean this up a little bit and see what we're really working with here. Well, I see a wet spot there. And now I know where the mystery smell is coming from. We've got multiple rust holes through the back of the tank. So I think we're going to drag this thing outside and call it scrap metal. While of course I would like to keep and restore every truck that I buy, that obviously can't happen. I don't know what this truck's fate will be yet, but currently my plan is to fix it up enough to drive it. And in order to do that, well, some of this rust and stuff that's starting in here, it needs to get cleaned up, neutralized, and get some paint on it, just so it just doesn't get worse than it already is. So that's what we're doing. Let's get after it. I had somebody ask me on the Jeep video if I used rust neutralizer on the floor, and I do. I like the Loctite brand. And I just spray it on, you wait about 20 minutes, you spray another coat on it, it turns all the rust black, and you don't want to sand on it after that. That's ready to paint. And then you got to use like an oil-based paint over it, so I usually use like Rust-Oleum, something like that, because it's usually a floorboard or something along those lines. On the Jeep, for example, I use the truck bed liner. So that's how I do it. Now keep in mind, I'm not a mechanic, I just do this for fun, so there's probably a better way, but this works for me. While we're waiting for the rust converter to do its thing till we can put the second coat on it, I think we're going to try and clean up this intake here. I have the carburetor off of it. I have to order the rebuild kit, but we can clean the junk out of there, this junk out of here, you know, all the rust and stuff that's falling everywhere, clean the battery box out, just kind of tidy up a little bit. Sounds like a good plan. Let's review. We fixed the starter and found out it does indeed run. So that's a plus. The carburetor needs to be rebuilt. So it's off, and I'm going to order a rebuild kit for it. And the smell, oh, the god-awful smell. Well, that ended up gutting the interior out of it, and then surface rust on the floor, so we got to clean that up and treat it. And that needs to cure for 24 hours before I can put the top coat on it. So I think that might be about it for this video. Next time, we're going to get the carburetor rebuilt, back on there, get a fuel tank in it, flush the fuel system, put a filter in it, and get it to actually run for real. And probably put a seat in it. Yeah, we'll probably put a seat in it and make it maybe move a little. We got that drive shaft issue down there, so we don't want to get too crazy, but we could probably make sure the transmission functions and the clutch works and everything. And then I guess we'll go from there and see what the future holds for this thing. I really like this truck. Of course, I really like all of them, and that's my problem. You know, I can't keep all of them, and I can't do a full restoration on all of them. But what I can do is drag them out of bad situations that they're in and do stuff to them to show their potential. Let people see, hey, that could be a nice truck. And I'm going to try and do a little more of the fixing up so that you can see what I do to them other than just get them running. You know, the will it starts are obviously the most viewed videos, which is fine, but people who really care watch the follow-up ones and see what we do with these trucks afterwards. And frankly, that's the part that I like, is the bringing it back to life and making it you know, it could be driven and enjoyed again. Like the 68 series. If you haven't watched that, go check it out. I love that truck, and I really hated to sell it, but it went to a good home, and the guy, he loves it more than I ever would, if I'm being honest. He loves that truck. So, it's a plus. Make sure you go check out the Super Clean giveaway. Probably going to be using some of that on this at some point, and let's be honest, this thing is going to need a massive pressure washing at some point too, because wow, it's dirty. But it's cold outside, and I like it in here where it's heated and I can work in short sleeves. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time, and as always, hit that like and subscribe button, and make sure you comment. I read and respond to everyone. Let me know what you think. I appreciate it. Take care.